There's been some debate in circles dealing with the question of evolution about the whole notion of randomness and purpose and design and chance and necessity, and some have said just because it's not purposeful doesn't mean evolution is random, and some have kind of strained at these gnats a bit. So let me try to weigh in on this issue. I think this is a bit of a tempest in a teapot, and if aficionados of the particulars of language want to strain at these definitions, then, well, there might be a value for that for them in their areas of expertise where those distinctions really matter. But I think in standard conversation with people, the real question is whether the universe or the biological realm has been designed for a purpose or not. Now, if it has not been designed for a purpose, a lot of people will use the word random to describe that. Or some might refine it more and say, well, there's chance or necessity. That is, chance might be randomness, nothing particularly guiding it. Necessity would be law-like behavior. But both of those, I think, fall in the category most people consider to be non-purposeful. That is, they are not, there is no mind directing them to a particular end. So there is purpose or not, whether you want to call it chance or necessity or random. Choose your words. I think most people in the discussion are using these terms synonymously. And as I said, there may be some value to be making distinctions in more rarefied examples of this discussion in the academy, but I think for the rank and file, this isn't necessary. What we want to say to the atheist is, whether you think this is chance or necessity, regardless, there is no design in the sense of there being purpose. There is a purposed end to the process. And this they all acknowledge. Because if there is a purposed end, then there is a purposer. Purposed end, by the way, is a telos, T-E-L-O-S. This is why this discussion is usually called a teleological discussion. The argument for God is a teleological argument or design argument for God. The atheist is going to say there is no God, therefore there can't be any design like that. There can't be real ends. Things are not made for certain purposes. That's what we're after. And if we can demonstrate that it appears that things are intended for purposes and are not, call it random if you want, call it non-purposeful if you want, then we can build on that foundation to infer from that evidence that there is a purposer. That's the basics of the teleological argument, the design argument. The whole idea is, gee, it looks like somebody is messing with things, has set it up a certain way. This is why, by the way, people so frequently invoke Mother Nature. I don't know if this has ever occurred to you, but they don't talk about Father God, they talk about Mother Nature. Because, I know this is an anthropomorphizing, bringing a human kind of in, but they say that for a reason, because it looks like somebody's tinkering. Now, when pressed, they're going to be dismissive. Oh, that's a figure of speech. We know that there is no purposing like that in nature. It's a blind process that did not have us in mind, as one person famously put it. But notice how easily they slip over into this anthropomorphic characterization, because, boy, it sure does look like someone has been tinkering with the system. And this is why we are justified in inferring design from the system, because it just does not seem possible that randomness or chance or law-like behavior, necessity if you will, is adequate to explain the kind of complexity that we experience in the world.